think we might try Cornelius in the run with the rest of the hens tonight. Look at these pretty ladies up on the roost. I don't want to get too close and scare them. It's interesting how they kind of stick together. I noticed that the three Easter eggers, they're usually inside the coop together, or look at them up on the roost all together. And then the gingers down here, I think they might be Red Rangers, and then what is it, Orphans something maybe, but all of them have been running together. Today they made a circle around the entire homestead, all the orange and yellow ones, and then the rest of them, the other 5 that I have, are Delawares. So that, and the rooster is a Delaware. So if I'm right about the yellow ones being Orpingtons and these are Delawares, they would actually make really great meat chickens. So the 12 that I have right now, these hens, they're egg laying hens. I'm going to keep them for laying eggs. Oh, Incus just scared him. Sorry, Cornelius. But what I'll do is I can have Cornelius mate with, hopefully I might, maybe I'll put him in a pen with one of the other Delawares and put him in the pen with one of the Corpingtons and have them breed meat chickens. So in addition to the 12 egg laying hens, then I can have some meat chickens, or it doesn't matter if they're roosters or hens. And a lot of them, after only 12 weeks, sometimes less, you're already supposed to harvest them for meat. So what a blessing that'd be. Is say you have I don't know, what do they usually have, 20 or 30 of them, however many they have, few months later you can harvest them. So if I've got him continuously breeding, I can continuously harvest, and then I can sell some, but also store a lot of them. I'm not sure if you can can the chicken the same way as the red meat, but I'll look into it and I'll figure all that out. So the cool thing is it turns out that they're all really great egg layers. The Delawares, they lay up to 280 eggs a year, which is quite a bit, especially considering it's a really good meat bird and an egg bird. And then the Orpingtons, I think, are 200 or more a year, which are pretty good egg layers. Yeah, we'll go from there and we'll figure it out. The greenhouse has been holding up pretty good. I've got more sprouts coming finally, and honestly, I mean, I've had these for weeks, but I think maybe I wasn't adding quite enough water. I didn't want to overwater them since I didn't have much, but I've got one here. There's one, there's 2 there. Got one here, 2 in this guy here, and there's one at the front and at the back here. And what I did is I did rows of 3, so a lot of these will be, one, maybe this is tomatoes, onions, and I know when I did tomatoes, I believe I did at least 2 rows. So there's a couple things that have 2 or 3 rows, and I don't even remember exactly what they were. I didn't have a good way to mark everything yet, but I'm going forward. And then all of these have something growing in them, except for this one hasn't shown up for some reason. I believe this is a bunch of tomatoes. Should be like 10 in there. I can see 3 or 4 right now. And once these are thriving and doing really well, most of that, because, especially the tomatoes and whatever, they'll come over here. So if I've got I think I have some peas that should be growing and some tomatoes, those things will definitely go over here. Some of these will be herbs, and I could just plant them down here or something. We'll see if there's enough room. Check this out. This is from Crystal Creations from TikTok. She sent this out. I bought this from her. I don't know if there's a way to contact her other than through Oh, she has an Etsy. So I'll put her Etsy link down below for that. That's pretty cool, huh? I think it was ideal with the cactus and whatnot out here in Arizona. I've got these containers Jeff sent with me so I can put some things in there. The chickens have been roaming free, by the way, all day today, all day yesterday. But just before I lit up the camera, they were all in there but a couple, and so I figured, hey, it was easy to get them in there, close it down. I'm gonna make dinner. I don't want to chase them later. The zipper on this broke, so people are saying, hey, use some 3M Velcro. That's probably what I'll do. Let's see, the corn and whatnot is doing really well since it's been raining a little bit, and then I'm still watering. I figured it's best and most important. I planted a bunch of corn in here, and then a bunch of corn in that side, and potatoes, so I'm keeping it really nice and wet. I finally decided that I really want to push a lot of corn and a lot of potatoes, and then in here for now I'll have everything else, you know, tomatoes, peas, whatever else to, you know, maybe I'd like to get I should get some lettuce going so I can make some salads easily. Lettuce, spinach, kale. Maybe I can do those again since I got the greenhouse now. And then this has been turning out pretty good, the soil. So I've got quite a nice amount of soil. I'll try again to get worms when I'm in town. And then this is cool because we've been over here forever. First things I did was dig this pad down to here, but I finally decided that, you know, I'm just gonna go for it. It's down at least 2 feet right now, and well, on that side tomorrow I'll finish getting this entire thing at least 2 feet down. You know, maybe I'll shoot for going down a foot every day, and that'll add another 2 stairs roughly. A stair and a half, 2 stairs. Well, I think it's about 2 feet for 3 stairs, or about 8 inches for the risers. I'm just eyeballing it, but so, you know, another 3 would be 2 more feet, so I'd be 4 feet down. Another 3 would put us 6 feet down. So 3, 6, 9, 10. If I had 12 stairs, that'd put us 8 feet down. Is that right? So I don't know if we'll go. I'd like to go 8, I think, if I can. And then the cool thing is see, the stairs, it doesn't really matter if they're right in the way all the way along, because that leaves a huge planter on both sides of the staircase, you know. And so effectively what I did is I'm bringing that entire outdoor garden could fit in here. And so that way, you know, all year long I could grow corn and potatoes. Those are heavy, hardcore crops to have all winter long. You know what I mean? And then I could probably have enough room to do some tomatoes and other things. And I don't know exactly what I'll do for sure with that. I think it's a little bit. I think a wind could come through and tear it, because it's like I've got 10 stakes in it. I've done everything you can to the damn thing. There's even pretty large chunks of dirt all the way around, and I feel like I need to dig a hole for it to set it down in. Possibly. Maybe that's what I do with it, is just go ahead, and once this one's complete, I can just dig another hole for that one. And then you know, then I'm starting to have quite a bit of underground garden, which'll be something that's pretty self-sustainable. And the staircase here, as it runs all the way down, I'm thinking that I'll probably end up going straight out. You know, maybe I go out another 10 or 12 feet and go 4 feet or something like that, so that I have a nice large walk-in cold storage. And there's a lot of things I could keep, you know, 50, 60 degrees all year long like that. And even if I ran a cord down there and whatnot for my freezer, that might be ideal, because it'd be much more effective. It'd take a lot less energy to keep that freezer cold when it was only, you know, when it never got above 60. Yeah, so I want to do that. And then I also want to run, even if it's only 2 feet deep, I think, if I ran a bunch of corrugated pipe and did like 200 feet, 250 feet. Look at Incas trying to get this root out. He's just yanking and yanking, trying to get that root out. But, see, if I went down a few feet and I run that pipe all the way through, then on the inside it'd be a ventilation system, and I could put a fan into one side and circulate that nice cool air all the way through that 250 feet of ground out into the greenhouse, and then whatever's in the greenhouse would be sucked back in. And so by circulating continually with a large enough amount of, air, that would even keep it nice and cooler too. It'd keep it the temperature that underground is, So that's what I'm doing the last couple days in between rain. And it hasn't rained. It really hasn't been a huge storm. It hasn't rained like super epic, but there was a pretty good rain. I think I got about 70 gallons of water between the two little rain storms, so that's cool. I mean, I haven't even had a solid 24 hours of rain, and I'm used to seeing that other places. So it's still supposed to rain for the next 2 days, so we'll see if we get a bunch more rain. But hey, it's super dry, and if I got 70 gallons out of that, I think that's pretty good. And there were a few issues that I tightened up about the water collection system, so I think we're getting there, guys. It's been a little while. I haven't made a video, so I figured I'd give you a little update. Hopefully you guys subscribe if you're interested in what I'm doing. Oh, and hit notifications and whatnot. Look, I was going to tell you one more thing. It just crossed my mind is I'm working on a website. I already own the domain. It's frugaloffgrid.com. It's not up yet, but you can save that. And it's going to be a pretty cool website where it's my homestead website, and I will be creating things to sell on that website. I believe that I will be selling some eggs, obviously, egg-laying hens. Like I said, I want to really push the corn, so that'll be one of my largest crops. And what I want to do with that, the reason it's so awesome to do the corn is because I was like, oh man, I want to be self-sufficient, but I can't make flour, it'd be nice to make flour. And then I realized I can make corn flour. And I don't know if you guys realize how huge that is, that out here I can produce meat, eggs, vegetables, fruit, and that I can make my own flour. I can make bread, cakes, cornbread, cornmeal, it's tortillas, tamales, all kinds of things. It's huge that I can make my own flour, so it's going to be something I focus on. And so I will probably package little fresh containers of corn flour for you guys. I might do 2 different sizes so you can do cornmeal specifically, although they're pretty much the same thing. It's just flour's really finely ground. And then I ordered some seeds for some really awesome herbs that I can make tea with. And one of them I've never heard of until recently, from Kate on TikTok. She drinks this tea. It's called butterfly pea flower tea. And it's a Thai flower, and it's blue, kind of a blue-purple color. And you steep it, like tea. But it makes the water just this royal blue, right? And then you add just a squeeze of lemon, and the acid in the lemon turns it this really bright purple color. And she suggested I buy some of the tea, the flower, and I said, shit, can I grow it? And so I ordered seeds for that. And something I really like about it is it's a stress relieving, it helps reduce stress or anxiety levels. And then it has a bunch of other benefits. Plus, lemon balm I ordered. I've really wanted my lemon balm. It's in the mint family, and it is a stress reliever. And I could use some stress relief. But I thought that'd be cool to package my own. I'm going to create my own teas from scratch. A few different teas. So all these things will be on the website. And That's something I'm excited about. So sorry to gab on, but that just crossed my mind, and that's something I'm working on. I've just got a couple of holdups, but we'll get it all straightened out. And I will see you guys anyway on the next video. No. Need a bean. So just over 2 months ago, when I got to the land here, one of the first things I did was start to dig down just a shallow pad for a greenhouse for what I thought was going to be much more immediate. Because if you think about it, now I've built a shed and water towers and, a garden, and drug the roads and put in a barbed wire fence, all kinds of stuff that I thought I was going to do this greenhouse first, but finally here I am. The plan is to dig down at least 6 feet, but I'm shooting for like 8 or 10 feet. And that way the roof of this thing will just be barely above ground. I've got some metal studs, and I'm thinking to just run, I'll put a post in the center, and then I'll run these the metal studs to the corner of the post, and then I can wrap the entire roof with plastic, something pretty transparent so the sun can come in, and one side of it will be kind of a triangle. There will be a door that opens up so I can get down into the garden. It's not easy. As you can tell, look how big. Here's a root right here, and there's a lot of roots, and they're big. And sometimes I'm lucky and I can break them out like that one, but about 15 or 20 roots so far I've actually had to cut through with the shovel. I've had a lot of people tell me that I was nuts, or that you can't do it, or hey, just buy a tractor, rent a mini tractor. They're only $500 for a couple days. And it's interesting to me how many people are just boggled that this is something I'm doing, when hundreds of years ago, and hundreds of years just isn't that long ago, guys, but this is the only way you could do it. You know what I mean? Like, nobody would have even bat an eye 100 years ago. And I don't know. I think it's crazy just the way the world is, where digging a hole for a garden is so outlandish nowadays. Oh, shit. I've just been going through short bursts like this, where for 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'll just sit and hammer away, and then I'll take a little break and come back at it. And I was aiming for about 1 foot a day, and I'm definitely doing more than that. So it'll happen eventually. I'm cutting down a staircase as I go with roughly 8-inch risers. So there should be between 9 and 12 stairs when I'm finished. There were a few light rains this week, which were supposed to be all of it. But then after all those happened, then this heavy rain came, and I think I got about 100 gallons total of water. I got distracted while I was digging. So I've got the thing dug out pretty good. It's going to take probably 4 times as much effort as I've already put into it to get it all the way down. Yesterday I saw a truck drove out here to the end and back, and they drove really slow, and I just figured I kind of planned to wrap this in anyway, and I like the privacy of having it there because that's the one spot that you can kind of see into the property. So that's all the plastic I had, and when I go into town I'll grab a lot more because I'm going to cover the top of the underground greenhouse, or as some people have been referring to it, the Wallapini, which is an underground greenhouse. So, oh, I brought this out. This is mason line, and I just don't want to risk getting any of this taken by the birds. And I think I'm just going to end up enclosing this entire structure as a greenhouse and just really fortifying it. But until I can do that, I'm gonna string some of this. I'm gonna zigzag across the top. And what they say is the birds, they have a hard time seeing. They have a hard time understanding how they're gonna approach and land in a place that has string across the top. It messes up their depth perception, I guess. And so I'm going to do that. And then I already ordered it's a 20-foot by 12-foot sunscreen that I'll drape on top of that all the way across. And so I'll have to duck as I come in here for a while, but I don't think that's a small price to pay if my corn grows 4 feet tall before it gets eaten, you know. So I'm going to work on that right now, and I'll show you what I've been doing over in the Wallapini. So I am going to head into town. I have to run back this little kennel. The lady that sold me the chickens let me use that to carry Cornelius back in, so he wouldn't bother the chickens or anything. So I'm going to take that into town. And so I went ahead, I had about 50 gallons or so, and so I went and distributed amongst all the containers I could. You know, the little portable containers I have for drinking out of. I used it to water everything. I just soaked everything. And the last of it, I decided to pump in here and soak this as much as I could. And see, in the corner here, I had gotten down real good into some clay. And I was looking at it, and I thought, hell, why don't I see what'll happen if I, you know, kind of try to use some of that. And so what I'll do, I'll show you what I did. What I'll do along the way is I can make, you know, a separate pile of pretty well pure clay. And then, well, that'll be a building material that I can hold on to. Imagine if I pull out, you know, gosh, I got like, you know, 5 feet deep by 12 by, so like 200 square feet, but 5 deep. So, you know, thousands of square feet of this clay I could have sitting aside as a building material. And then I could frame in some, you know, I could make like a grid out of wood and pour a bunch of bricks. And as long as I can figure out a way to make a kind of a kiln to cook it, then I could make a ton of my own bricks. Damn near literally a ton of bricks, guys. Well, I could literally do it because there's all this land that if I wanted to dig up more clay, I could. So I'll show you what I did here real quick. So just out of curiosity, I filled up this little flower bucket. It's an old tree bucket or whatever. And that's pure clay. I didn't mix in any sand. So these very first two, I was just kind of thinking of winging it, big deal, whatever. I threw some in there, I mixed in some sand, and I just did a really rough bucket, just the most half-assed, just some mud and some clay, and threw it in there. So I'll let them dry in the sun, all of this, and then I'll see if I can build some sort of a kiln. But then as I got going, I said, hey, well, I could try to make it a little nicer and smoother. And this one I kind of made a little bowl inside there. And then I think this one, the last one, I think I did even the best. You know, the best mixture and everything. So, but for thousands of years, they've used clay and soil mixture. And you can even do it without clay. Hey, Incas, leave him alone. He likes to kind of play with Cornelius. He's not aggressive, but I think sometimes Cornelius isn't completely into it. But so anyway, for thousands of years people have been making bricks and stuff, so I figured, you know, by throwing a few different mixtures in there and letting it dry, I can get an idea of how beneficial it is. And maybe it turns out to be pretty easy to make some bricks. I can show you what I'm digging through right now. This is the clay that I'm hitting, and sometimes it doesn't crumble very easily. This one's going pretty good, but this corner that I've been working on is damn hard to shovel. I'll put all my weight into it, I'll jump on the shovel, and I'll get like a quarter scoop, because it's just hard. So yeah, I ended up kind of playing in the dirt today, and you can see the clay holds the water pretty good, because can you even see it? I pumped a bunch of water in here. You can see the wet dirt, and this has been in here for probably 2 hours. So the water's soaking down. Hopefully that helps me dig. That's why I did it originally. But as I started kind of messing with it, I figured I may as well see if this clay will be beneficial to play with. Wow, that was intense. What in the world was that? Oh, there was a big lightning. I wonder if you saw the flash. Oh man, some of these lightning and thunders are heavy. Alright ladies, you might want to go take cover. What do you think, Cornelius? Corn comes over to the edge of the van a lot, and this is the second time he's hopped up to say hello. I sat and held him for a little while because I think they might have been picking on him at the other place and pulled out some of his feathers there. See you later, buddy. You hopping down? Where are you staying? What do you think? You can hang out if you want. Big bird, huh? That's okay, buddy. You can hang out. It just keeps raining, doesn't it? This morning when I went out to the greenhouse, I seen that something ate all 6 of my tomato plants, all 3 of my cantaloupe, and both of my honeydew. Thankfully they didn't get into these new starts, because almost all of those herbs are starting to grow already. This is out in the outdoor garden. They ate all the watermelon. There's a little bit of stub left. I hope they grow back. And they pretty well left the corn alone. And since I don't have another shade yet, I used the 2 screen doors that I have to put over this other side that's not covered. But all those starts are good. The little chickens are good. I've got a lot of progress on this underground greenhouse, guys. Look how tall this is. If you include the hill on the side, it's probably 7 feet tall right now. But I've got about 4 feet in depth on the one side dug out. Just to kind of give you an idea. Remember these little pieces of clay I put together? They're pretty solid. Obviously I didn't use a kiln, and look, it's pretty hard. So that's the first piece that I made too, the sloppiest piece I made, and it's hard to break. Probably about as hard to break as a brick would be. I've been keeping up on my compost pile, and in fact most of the good stuff is in that new raised bed there. And this was the last stretch for today. I told Ray, I was like, I'm gonna go out and do one more stretch real quick, and then I'll get back to you. So I cleaned that up out there. There it is, one whole side, 4 feet deep, 7 total. This is the oven. I don't know if I showed you guys that stovetop yet. And yesterday we sold out of the corn flour. We're selling out today too. So I got a package from buycbdnashville.com. Check out their website. Hey guys, I'm trying to up my game a little bit on social media. Spend a little more time doing the videos. You know, it all started out just being myself, and then I'm like, you know, with this many followers, you guys deserve me to put a little more effort into it. So I'm working on that. Hopefully you subscribe if you like the video. Hit notifications if you want to see more as I post them. And check out my website. The link's in the description down below. We'll see you guys on the next video. Guys, would you look at this? Just the lighting. And I think this is the largest rainbow I've ever seen in my life. And just the shadows, it's just such an interesting thing how the horizon and the sky just change all the time here. You can see the rainbow all the way over there. Such interesting lighting. Today I broke out the seeds because this corner, they hit the mice or whatever, it just ate everything over there. And I planted a nice little row of honeydew, cantaloupe. I did 1 pumpkin, 3 watermelon, 10 tomatoes, beef steak, and like 6 or 10 peppers. Oh man, this is gonna rip off. It's windy right now. Don't rip off. It's not gonna rip off. Maybe I'll hold on to it. Yeah, look, it ripped all the way through. It wasn't like that. I feel like I'm in Wizard of Oz or something half the time. I went back and I watched some videos from the beginning, and it's insane how much everything's changed. Just the natural trails from us walking and things like that. I was just over there looking at you know, scrap that I have, thinking about building up, you know, a post on the side and make kind of a trellis out of one of these, but sideways, a little ways up. And I was thinking of doing it inside too for strawberries and well, the tomatoes over here could use it. Oh, and I put snap peas in here. And matter of fact, I was so excited today after everything got eaten up. I saw at least one. Oh, and I planted all the flowers too, but I had at least one snap pea came up, and either I think it's an echinacea that came up, or some butterfly pea tea, and that just kind of reassured me, because after everything got eaten out of there, it's been a while, and I was starting to be worried if any of those seeds were going to come up. And then I planted all the flowers I got over there, all the seeds. But I've got 3 begonias in each raised bed. And then I'm drawing a blank on what the others are called. Everybody knows what they are. I can't think of the word right now. Man, why can't I? That happens to me. But you know what they are. Anyway. Just thought that was pretty cool. Here's the new coop if you guys didn't see it real well. I think I showed it in the last video. We've been keeping these girls separate because they were getting picked on. You see the one's tail right there. But I just went in there and looked, and there's no fresh picking. And you see I've been keeping like large amounts of food everywhere. And they've been out all day. But I think because they're well fed and everything, they're not bothering each other anymore now that they're separated. And then I've been keeping Cornelius over here for the most part. At least I try to keep them all separated. I had him with the Delawares last night, all the Delawares, and actually they did pretty good. Some of them tried to pick him a couple times, but I think he's healed up enough that it didn't actually cause any damage. Like they were just doing it habitually. So I'm happy about that. I'll talk to you guys a little later. Probably add this to the video tomorrow. After this whole COVID thing started, I was laid off. My dog and I picked up and we moved to the desert and started a homestead. I hope you'll check out our farm fresh products on frugaloffgrid.com. I've been going to the post office over and over, and I haven't been able to get the water testing supplies until today. Your wait for testing my rainwater is over. Let's go over the results. Alright guys, this is the SJ Wave 16-in-1 water test kit. I got it from Amazon.com. The kit is pretty straightforward, but I'll tell you the directions here. Remove one strip from sealable bag, immediately seal the bag tightly. Immerse the region area of the strip in the water sample for 2 seconds. Do not shake off any excess from the strip. Hold the strip horizontally for 30 to 50 seconds and compare results against color chart provided. Read the results within 30 seconds in good light for most accurate results. Alright, so we dipped it for 2 seconds. We're moving it over to the box so that I can compare. And then what I did is I have a dry erase marker. So once I placed it in there, I went ahead and put marks where each color was, because it says to do it immediately within 30 seconds. And now I can go ahead and read off to you what our results are. I took this photograph immediately, and then these are the results. The photograph should make it easier for you to read off each individual test, but I'm going to do them now from the top to the bottom. So the very first one is total hardness, and as you can see, we fall in the middle there. Free chlorine, there's 0, iron 0, copper 0, lead 0, nitrate 0, nitrite 0. MPS is for pools and whatnot, but it's 0. Total chlorine 0.5. As you can see, that's safe, and that's from the chlorine that I added to the tank. Fluoride 0. Cyanuric acid 0. Ammonia chloride 0. Bromine 1. Total alkalinity 0. Carbonate 40. And pH 6.8. My rainwater is 100% safe. I hope this helps and encourages others to collect rain. After this whole COVID thing started, I was laid off. My dog and I picked up and we moved to the desert and started a homestead. I hope you'll check out our farm fresh products on frugaloffgrid.com. I want to introduce myself. I know I've made a few videos like this. So much has happened in the last 4 months since I lost my job and came out here to start a homestead, but I want to make sure that I'm introducing myself correctly, and as time goes on, I guess I'm better understanding really what my story is. Once COVID came around and was getting heavily publicized and whatnot, I was laid off from work with no notice. I was already living in my van, which you can see right there, so that made my decision a little easier, and the fact that I was pretty confident that nobody was going to hire a warehouse manager right away, while so many people were being laid off. This is my dog Incus. He's been along for the ride. He's almost 6 years old. Next month, so October 26th, he'll be 6. And this is my rooster Cornelius. He's pretty smart, and he's a good boy too. Huh, buddy? Cornelius has about 17 girlfriends right now, and I imagine we're planning on those hens having babies as soon as possible. It was just bare land. Dirt, in fact, and you can watch the entire process. I've documented everything from the very beginning. The point is we came out here with nothing, and now we have a small homestead. I've built a simple shed so that I can store whatnot and do a little work out of there. We've got a rain collection system, or a rain harvesting system. The awning as well as the shed, all that surface goes into the containers. I got one there and one in the back. I set up this garden out here, and although the soil wasn't great, we gave it a good run. I don't think we'll harvest much, but I learned a lot. I had this greenhouse sent out by somebody that was friendly enough to do that. And it's been difficult to grow anything in the heat out here. But now that it's cooling down, a bunch of bush beans and snap peas are coming up. So we'll see how those turn out. Basically, we're trying to be as self-sufficient as possible. So if I can produce eggs with the hens here, if they can have babies with the rooster, and we can raise some chickens for meat birds, that'd be great. We've got a few different gardens going on. The geothermal underground, I think that one's gonna do great for this winter. The water harvesting, everything together, you know, we're just doing our best to be as sufficient as possible, self-sufficient. And the main source of income is my website that I designed. So I'm doing the corn flour and the herbal tea on the website. If this lifestyle is interesting to you, I hope that you'll subscribe, hit notifications so you see when the videos are uploaded, and leave me comments, questions, give me some feedback, give me some support, and I'll try to answer everything. Appreciate you guys. The cell phone booster that Steve's Farm or Firefly Fields on TikTok sent me, and I'll show you. It's just right over here. I'll show you what it is, and I'm going to show you how to set it up, at least the way I'm going to, and I'll tell you why. Apparently, blue tea has a lot of health benefits. Butterfly pea flower is used as an antioxidant and to improve skin health. Lemon balm is said to reduce stress and anxiety, while lavender should stabilize your mood and help you sleep. You should get a bag. Here's the setup. It's really pretty simple. I'll put this antenna on a post above the shed. Here's the booster. It will connect to the electricity source, which has an in and out. This is a scrap piece of fiberglass railroad crossing. I used my wire to feed the coaxial through the tube. This coaxial will provide signal to the electrical box via this antenna. I guess I'm guilty and didn't look at the instructions. I didn't really even have a manual. I had to look one up on the internet eventually. So what it was is the antenna I have is directional, so it actually needs to be pointed this way. You see how now it's pointing that way? I thought that it had to stand upright for some reason, like it was omnidirectional, but so I think we got a good signal, and this is all I did. I'll show you. You know, I went about as high as I could with reaching for that. So that's probably about 20 feet in the air or so now, something like that. Just a simple fiberglass pipe that was scrap. I ran the wire through the pipe and down. And what you would normally do is pretend this was your house maybe. This is just my shed, but if this was your house, you know, you'd run that cord through the wall, and then I'll show you this piece here. You'd run that cord through the wall and plug it into this piece that would be connected to the wall. And then right now I have this going up to this antenna that I set on the end of the bed there, just to test out, you know, how the signal will be out here, because the antenna's on the other side of the shed. And then I have the antenna right there. And so I'm seeing, you know, will that help me get a signal out here? And actually, I'm pretty impressed that I was standing here where I don't usually get a very good signal, and it was steady. And then the reason I set everything up here was obviously I can have shelter over the vehicle here, and I can pull it all the way forward and have the southern sun hitting my solar panels. So the living space is under the shade and the front is getting the sun. It's just an ideal spot, but it's never had a signal here, and that's why I usually wasn't using it. But now knowing that I can walk over here underneath the awning and have a good signal, I think it's working pretty good. So I think the next test will be to try and go live, and we'll see. Maybe, you know, if I can get a real flawless live right here, you know, maybe I can go out a ways and start to show you guys, you know, the chicken coop and things like that live. Just to clarify quickly, you know, I told you how you would normally have it, because then you'd have that little box inside and it'd be plugged in. But I live in my van, and so what I'll do is I have the antenna, and I've got plenty of cord here that at night I'll just run the cord up. Well, actually, probably when I set it up, I'll probably just have a simple, you know, there's even this nice little spool kind of thing I have. You see this on the side of the van? I could just put it there and then run this cord along the roof in here so it's out of the way. And I don't think it's going to actually matter that much where that box is, you know, in the van, or maybe when I'm working, I can have it set up how it is so that I get a signal. You know, maybe it'll improve my signal to have the box over here sharing the signal this way, and we'll test it out, guys. But it's doing the trick. Pretty simple setup. This one is from Phone Tone, and they're around $200 area. And I want to thank Firefly Fields again, Steve's Farm, for sending that out, and the rest of the care package, and we'll let you guys know how well it works, but it seems to be doing the trick. After this whole COVID thing started, I was laid off. My dog and I picked up and we moved to the desert and started a homestead. I hope you'll check out our farm fresh products on frugaloffgrid.com. Some of you guys have asked me to give you an update on the Wallapini, or the underground greenhouse, or the geothermal. I can't see the screen right now, but I imagine that'll give you a decent view of where we're at. This side is 5 feet deep, and then there's a chunk that's at 4 feet right there. I've read a lot and watched some videos on these geothermal underground greenhouses, but for some reason I've read multiple different posts about it, and I haven't gotten all the, you know, exactly what they recommend. So I'm kind of piecing it together, and I noticed that most of these guys that are doing these are going 4 feet deep, which should be just below the freeze line. They're laying down their corrugated pipe, and then they're actually filling up that entire 4 feet, and so they're on level ground where their greenhouse is. Which is, you know, that makes it easier, you know, obviously, because then you only have to go 4 feet deep. But out here, we got 60-mile-an-hour winds, and, you know, there's a lot of reasons why it would be better to just sink it completely if possible. But see, I had this realization this morning. I finally hit 5 feet deep, guys, and I'm digging it all by hand with a shovel, and it's a lot of work, you know, and so I'm 5 feet deep now. And I realized, like, this 5 feet or maybe 4 feet would be ideal for walking around in. So this would be the ideal level for the greenhouse. The problem with that is, then if I really, really want to do this right, I believe I have to go 4 feet deeper to put the pipe down and then to bury it. And so that's a lot more work. And I guess I get a lot of input on a lot of my videos, and usually I get input when I don't need it. You know, there's something's already being done or whatnot, and people say, hey, you should do it this way, you should have done it that way. And that's cool, you know, you get helpful stuff out of that. But right now I could actually use anybody's help that knows a lot about this. I could actually really use the input. Do you think the fact that I'm 5 feet deep, my plan, you know, recently was to just go 1 more foot deep, so I'd be 6 feet from ground level, and there's of course 3 feet of pile up there, but so we'd be 6 feet deep. I could put in the pipe and then put a foot of dirt over it and then be underground, and I was thinking that would probably be sufficient. But then I had a realization that there's the 4 feet of ground on top of it to help regulate everything, although they are at level ground. And I'm starting to think technically I might have to go all 4 feet down. You know, I don't know if I could get away with burying it just 1 foot underground, 5 feet, you know, below 5 feet. So at 6 feet, and then putting a foot of dirt on it. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any input. Maybe somebody has found some good research on this or whatever, but I can't find enough information to fully piece it together. Anyway, so we're at a point where I'm either going to go another foot deeper than this and bury pipe in a foot of ground, or I'm going to have to go 4 feet deeper and put that pipe down and bury it in 4 feet of dirt, which would obviously probably be best, but we'll see what happens. And then the top here, the mound goes up and over. I'm going to build the roof to actually cover that entire space. To the center of here where I'll have a post, the roof will run out in 4 pitches out. And on that pitch by the stairs, the roof will open up as a door to get in here. And I'm going to build that. I have a post that I'll put in the middle, and then metal studs, and then I have cattle wire that I'll cut triangle pieces to make the pitches. I'll lay plastic on top of all that, and then put down another layer of cattle wire to lock everything in so the plastic doesn't blow away. There's Cornelius checking in on us. But yeah, so that's pretty well the plan. And the pipe, when I do the pipe, you know, it'll stick up in one corner from the ground and in an opposite corner. And one pipe will be up high into the ceiling area, and then one will be low, and the fan will suck the air through. You know, so say I have a 200 square foot area, I'll be pumping it through 200 square feet of pipe. So the pipe that's underground, that should be about 50 degrees all year long, I'll be accessing that temperature and circulating it in with the rest of it. So I should be able to maintain a pretty safe temperature. A lot of people have asked me, what about if it floods or it rains too hard? And so I think I pretty well addressed that already by the roof is going to go over what's basically a trench right now. And so any rain will be diverted around this. And then if in the future I build a rain collection system, I could dig it down and pipe all that rain into that. And then I could store it. I could have a valve and then water in here as needed. So there will pretty well not be a very good way for any water to get in here in order to flood it anyway. Although I haven't seen no water stood or anything, but the locals told me that the monsoons just weren't that heavy this year anyway. And then I do plan to do kind of a food forest out here. And so there's space back here behind the geothermal and around it. So do you see the space between here and the fence? I've been planning to dig kind of a trench just down the side here. And that trench, when it rains, can collect some rain, and it'll hold that moisture for the trees that I'll plant on the edges. And then we can build a canopy and all that stuff. And the reason I bring that up is that will be some sort of a trench. So if it did flood, that water would just safely go into this trench that would prevent any damage to my geothermal, or possibly most of the property. Hopefully you guys have a pretty good understanding of what I'm shooting for now. I hope that answers your question. If you have any more questions, just comment below. And then if you have any information, you know, I'm at 5 feet deep, so if I put a foot on that, would that be enough, you know, since I'm that deep, to circulate the air and keep that temperature? Or do I actually have to go 4 feet deeper and bury it under 4 feet of insulation? Let me know. So I'm just taking a walk out here, out on some public land, and I come over the edge, and it looks like there's an abandoned building out there. Just over the edge here, there's some sort of property up there. However this got here, I don't even see a road anymore. Here's that old fort again. Oh my gosh, guys, it's so desolate out there. I didn't mean to go that far, and I went without drinking. Oh my god, it's so dry. All of these are new, and all the ones in the back were the other day. And of course these pieces I found on my land, old pottery. And then there's this bad boy. I carried that all the way back, man. Just sitting in the middle of nowhere. Yesterday when I came back from town, I brought back 3 bales of straw. I unloaded the bales of straw, so 2 of them I brought over to compost, and 1 of them I'm storing in the hoop house to use later for bedding inside the chicken coops. In this video, I'm going to tell you and show you how I figured out to do compost after being out here for 5 months, as well as my worm compost, the worm juice and the poo juice I use, and the cycle, you know, the system that I have in place to amend my soil. Since I had extra straw, I laid down a solid layer on top of what was already in the hoop house, added some to the raised beds, and then I'm storing that extra bale of straw in there. I have 2 raised beds basically that are 4 feet by 8 feet, and this is 1 bale of straw inside one of the raised beds. Here's a better look at what these raised beds or containers look like for my compost. So you need 4 ingredients to make a compost work, and those are carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, water. My chickens do a phenomenal job of making nitrogen by laying manure that I can collect from the straw. The straw makes an ideal surface to collect the nitrogen because guess what? Straw is carbon. Straw works well as the base because it provides these gaps for air and water to get into the compost. In this clip, I've added the manure to the top of the straw. In addition to the compost, I make fertilizer. That bucket was chicken poo. And this bucket is my worm compost, and below the worm compost is a worm tea from the compost. I'm mixing the fertilizer and the worm poo together here. Simply put it back together and haul this tea and poo juice out to the water tower. This will be 4 parts water, 1 part fertilizer, and I'll add it to the soil. I really hope you guys will give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Drop a comment if you have any questions. Subscribe. We'll see you on the next video. Hey, Incus. 6 years old today. It's Incus's birthday. What do you think about that, buddy? And it's the first time it's snowing out here. Ooh, it's kind of cold after being 90, you know. We're used to 90. Yeah, the snow's coming down good. We had rain last night, so I'm sure we collected some rain. And if we get an inch of snow on the roof, you know, as it warms up, we'll be collecting that snow melt too. So we got the metal roof up there. We could melt it down and it'll collect in the gutter. The chickens are doing just fine. That second half all the way back is dry. So it looks like that setup worked pretty good, and even this coop we made for free is doing the trick. Huh, ladies? Yeah, they're dry. They're completely dry in there. There's even an egg back there, so they even laid an egg this morning. We had some wind damage, so we'll see what I can do with that. I got to run to town and whatnot, but when I get back, we'll see what I can do. And who knows, maybe these bush beans will keep pushing through for now. You know, it's currently around 40, but, well, probably not quite, but it's supposed to be about 25 for most of the day. The windstorms also just tore up the corn pretty good. And I mean, it's snowing. We're probably on the last bit of it there, but I'll just let the corn sit there for now, and we'll see if it starts to dry out, and I can move it eventually, but just figured I'd give you guys a little update. It does snow in the high desert in Arizona. I've had this question so many times, and are you ready? Are you ready for the winter, everyone says? And I told them, well, this will be my 37th winter, and I have a 100% success rate. So there's that. Oh, since we don't have, it's been a minute for the YouTubes. We did get the chimney pipe kit into the shed. I just need to get the other 9 feet, and then we can put that cap on the top of the 9 feet of pipe. And then I just got a couple pieces to get inside, and we'll be set up for that. And this morning, it's pretty cold, so I knew that I'd be working in here later. So I wanted to get the kerosene heater going. So the neighbor, he said he wasn't going to use this, and it would probably end up at the scrapyard. Ooh, it's nice and hot now. So here, I'll close this door. At least a little bit. And so he basically gave it to me, but then, you know, I like to reciprocate. So I just, you know, do you need anything? And he needed some water, so I ran him up another thing of water. And so this morning, you know, this wasn't working, and you know, we pulled it apart and everything, and this morning I just replaced the wick. And wow, when I went out, I didn't even see the light like that. It was just a blue flame, but the wick must be getting saturated in kerosene now. And I put in a temperature gauge in here. Matter of fact, it's already gained about 1 or 2 degrees in here. So even if we can get it, you know, 5-10 degrees warmer in the shed, this will be helpful until we get the fireplace set up. I'll show you. So here's the wood burning stove, and I've got insulation in front of it, but you see that's where the kit comes into the wall. It's a nice triple insulated area. We'll get it piped in soon, and man, I'll tell you, when we get this wood burning stove going, it's going to be phenomenal in here. I'll be able to cook in here. You can see, look at all these packages that are going out today. We're doing a lot of packaging. So thanks to Jeff, I've got this nice countertop. I clean it, disinfect it, we set up, and then we pack all the tea, and then we pack all the corn flour. Here's some red tea, just to show you if you haven't seen it. It's a beautiful product. You just can't get a better red tea, blue tea, or corn flour anywhere. And so it's been doing really good, and I'm happy about that. And just kind of, I thought the snow was cool, and just figured I'd kind of update you guys. We do have, we got solar panels in, we got the metal detector, you know, so there's a lot of things we're going to be doing here soon. And there's a lot of amazing things on the way, guys. And I don't know, man, you guys are amazing. Appreciate everybody. And we'll catch you guys on the next video.